Hello and welcome to the Pup Mommy. This is a channel where I share my passion for dogs as well as share my practical hands-on experience and everything that I've learned in owning, loving, and caring for dogs for close to 35 years. Multiple breeds, large and small, puppies to seniors. Now, this is the second in a three-part video series that I'm doing on breeds for seniors. And what makes my video a little more different than all the other senior videos out there? Well, because I'm a senior. And also because, I did have my mother living with me from age 80 to 93, and we had dogs in the house. So I think I know something about dogs, breeds, and seniors. Now, in this particular video, I'm going to be talking about the medium-sized breeds for seniors. And those breeds are dogs that fall into the category range of somewhere between 30 and 55 pounds. Now, before I get started, I want to say this. There are two keys, in my opinion, to success for seniors owning dogs. The first is to decide whether or not you want to go the puppy route or you want to go the adolescent adult route. Now, the last time I brought puppies into my home, I was 64. But then again, my experience is not necessarily your experience. The second key is to find a breed that is going to match your personality, your environment, your lifestyle, and also one, very important, that you can safely handle. That's very huge. So if you're thinking of bringing a pup into your life and you would like an objective, unbiased opinion, then I offer personalized services to help you find that perfect breed for yourself and ultimately to interact with your family as well. If you would like to know more about my services and other ancillary services that I offer, the links are in the description section. So now let's get started with what some of the medium breeds are that I like. Now, this is not an all-inclusive list or we'd be sitting here for the next 2 hours. So let's get started. The dogs that are on this list, again, not all-inclusive, are the Pembroke and Cardigan Welsh corgis, the English bulldog, the Basset hound, the Finnish lapshund, and the Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever. Now, how did these dogs get on the list? Well, let me take you through them individually. I won't spend a great deal of time because if you are interested in learning more about them, you can also do your own research and you can also call on me. So let's start with the corgis. We have the Pembroke and we have the Cardigan Welsh corgis. The Pembrokes do not have the tail. The Cardigans have the tail. And the Cardigans are also a little bigger and a little bonier than the Pembroke. You might remember the Pembroke Welsh corgi because it was the favorite dog of the late Queen Elizabeth II. These dogs are going to weigh in somewhere around 28 to about 38 pounds. They are very athletic dogs because they're part of the AKC herding group, and I will be straightened up forward with you. If you do have grandchildren that frequently come over, and if those grandchildren are, let's say, babies or toddlers, preschoolers, this might not necessarily be the dog for you, or you may have to restrict the dog maybe into another section of the house. And why do I say that? Well, because as AKC herding group dogs, how do they herd? Well, they herd the cattle, they herd the sheep, they herd the goats and all the other livestock by nipping. All right. So there are a number of different posts that I've read in social media lately about dogs being surrendered to animal shelters like the Australian cattle dog, the Australian shepherd, because of nipping, because people said they nipped my child. Well, we don't want that to happen. So these dogs would be more suitable, I think, for if you have grandchildren that are much older in age. Let's say they're middle schoolers or they're teenagers. Because they can understand the functionality, the function of the dog a little better. But also keep in mind, too, that behaviors can be trained away, but genetics can't. So this is something that you can work on if you decide that the corgi, it's just an absolutely adorable dog. It's got that little foxy face. It always looks like it's smiling. Very amiable, very affectionate, really intelligent, easy to train, eager to please. It has a double coat, so that means means that weekly brushing is going to be necessary. But it's just one of these dogs that has got that nice, well-balanced temperament, that it's fun. And also because of its athletic and energetic, it's small enough also that if it's inclement weather outside or you can't get out and take a walk, you can zoom around the house. And it'll be happy zooming around the house. One other thing to keep in mind, though, too, health-wise, and so with the corgis, just like with the dachshunds, they have that longer body. So there is the risk of IVDD, there is the risk of hip dysplasia, but at the same time, does that necessarily mean that is going to happen to your dog? No, not necessarily, all right? This is where working with a reputable ethical breeder comes in, and not only with this breed, but with all the other breeds, because they do full genetic testing, and they also are looking to breed for health, temperament, and a well-balanced dog. So keep that in mind no matter what breed that you're looking for. The next dog, in fact, the next two dogs on the list are the English Bulldog and the Basset Hound. And with these two dogs, when you look at them visually, you either like them or you don't like them. All right. Now, with the English Bulldog, that's going to weigh in at about 40 to 50 pounds. And for those of you who are history buffs, the English Bulldog was the favorite dog of Winston Churchill. And also, I think the English Bulldog is a mascot of several football teams here in the United States as well. But at 40 to 50 pounds, it is the kind of dog that is very content to just be a lap dog and a companion dog. Yes, it can run around the backyard, but, after about 10, 15 minutes of running around the backyard, he's all too happy to just come in, lay down, and find a nice, comfortable spot. It is a dog that you can take on a walk with you, but again, if you live in a hot, humid climate, keep in mind that the dog is brachycephalic, which means it has a smooshed-in face. So you have to be careful how much exercise you give the dog in warm, humid climates. It may not necessarily be the best dog for that because it's going to like air conditioning far more than being outside. Now, this dog is, when it comes to training, I wouldn't say it's the most easy dog to train because he's got to kind of think about it sometimes. But again, with positive reinforcement, and it is a bulldog after all. But it is a dog that is low maintenance, a good groom. And it's one of these dogs, too, that if you can lift the dog into the bathtub or you can lift it into the kitchen sink and you're good at clipping nails or grinding nails, you'll never see the inside of a grooming salon. The other thing to keep in mind with the bulldog is got the folds around its face so that you are going to have to put in a little extra effort to make sure that the dog is kind of kept clean so there's no risk of infection or anything like that. But the dog is just such a good-natured dog and just such a fun, comical dog that sometimes when you look at the grooming that is necessary versus the dog and the breed itself, and what a really good pal this dog is, you have to weigh each against the other. The last thing about the dog is that yes, it does snore, and yes, it can be gassy. So again, how much snoring, how much gas, depends on each individual dog. The next dog on the list is the Basset Hound, and like the English Bulldog, it's one of these unique kind of looking dogs. It's got the long, droopy ears. It's a fun dog. It's a comical dog. It's an affectionate dog. Again, gets along with family, gets along with children. Moderate, low energy dog. I had a neighbor 2 doors down that had a Basset for 10 years. And, and it was just one of these dogs. I would, at the time that I used to take my Dobermans over, and we'd get together and visit and so forth. And I mean, it was just they all got along. Let's put it that way. The Basset Hound is like the English Bulldog. It is moderate in terms of trainability. Yes, it can be trained, can be a little stubborn. They share a lot of similarities between the Basset and the Bulldog in terms of training, in terms of grooming, because they both shed. The Basset is going to be somewhere between, I'd say 40 to 60 pounds. It's a large bone dog. There's a lot more bone to it than there are to other breeds of its size. size. It is prone to some ear infections, again, because they have long droopy ears. So, there's a lot of sometimes moisture that can be trapped in there. And I will tell you this, if your dog has an ear infection, you will know it because you will smell it. But the dog enjoys short daily walks with its owner. It's, again, very affectionate, sweet dog. But it's one of these dogs that, it's got a laid-back personality. And, it just likes nothing more than to, be a nice lap dog. And it bonds very well with its owners, gets along with children very, very well. So it's just a question of whether or not this is a kind of dog that you're looking for in terms of, again, like the bulldog, visually. Some people love their Bassets, love their bulldogs. Other people go, meh. So, moving on. If you like Spitz breed dogs, you'll like the Finnish lapshund. A Finnish lapshund is not necessarily as well known as the Samoyed or the American Eskimo dog, but one of the reasons that the Finnish lapshund is on the list is because it's a very well-balanced dog. It's a very beautiful dog. It's got a very calm temperament to it. It bonds with its owner, it bonds with the family, it likes children. It's an intelligent dog, it's easy to train, and when it comes to training, dogs like the lapshund like these games that are more mental. They like the puzzle games, so you can keep them occupied by some of these puzzle games that they have on the market. The dog it bonds with its owner well, but at the same time, it's not clingy. And a lot of people like that. This is a kind of dog that, again, is a herding breed, but at the same time, it's not as crazy as some of the other herding breeds may be. It's got a much more calm demeanor to it. This is a dog that also will enjoy moderate exercise. It's not a hyper dog, which is one of the reasons why it's on here. It's calm, it's sociable. Overall, it's generally a very healthy dog. And like the other dogs, there is the risk of hip dysplasia. You got to put that in there. In fact, I read somewhere just the other day that 70% of the dogs in America have hip dysplasia. Interesting. They do have a double coat, so that is going to mean grooming, but we know what we said about therapy and grooming. But they're beautiful dogs, and they are really, if this is the kind of, where you like the fur balls, take a look at the Finnish lapshund. And then finally, the last dog on the list is the Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever. Now, if you are someone who happens to still get out and you do hunting, or you do water sports, you do fishing, you like the hiking, you have families that are very active and they come over and they like to, this is a really good, energetic dog. It's the smallest of the retriever breeds, but it still has retriever instincts to it. It's energetic, it's very good-natured dog. It's like the corgi, it always looks like it's smiling. It's a very gentle, well-natured dog, but it can get out there and it can tear around with the grandchildren, and at the same time, once it's got its exercise, it can come inside and just be a wonderful, wonderful companion dog for you. It's got a nice waterproof wavy coat, so that is going to make grooming easy, and once a week brushing. Trainability is right up there. They're eager to please, eager to learn, very trainable dog, very sociable dog. Very affectionate with children. This is, it's just an overall, if you're looking for a dog that kind of ticks a lot of boxes, where it's not too big, it's energetic, but it's not going to be bouncing off the walls, where it's a happy dog, it's an affectionate dog, and it's just one of these dogs that, it's very difficult to find something negative to say about a toller. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this informative and interesting. If you have any comments, you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. I try to answer everybody. And don't forget to click and subscribe. Thank you so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I will say bye for now.